ready for Nood-o-Clock?
Yeah! Yeah!
Nood-o-Clock.
Let's get nude.
It's recording.
Oh. Get your mind out the gutter.
How do you play it?
Poke it like a button.
Okay, show me. Show me. This is Miss Casey, everyone. Say hi, Miss Casey.
Hi, Miss Casey.
And I'm Sally, and you're watching Nood-o-Clock. Tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Hi, I'm Miss Casey, and technically I'm a painter.
Cool. What else?
I'm an artist. I run a co-op called Muck Studio,
Very cool.
and we grew so fast and we do so much that I've changed so much in such a short amount of time. The best thing I could say to explain my work is that I'm professionally hanging on for dear life. And my hands are always doing something, whether it's this pan drum, or making music on my guitar, or painting, or woodworking, or macrame. I'm always doing something.
Miss Casey just so happens to also be my roommate. This is our kitchen.
I live here!
I'm making mac and cheese.
Well, you're gonna make mac and cheese.
I'm gonna make mac and cheese. I'm just gonna play the pan drum. First things first, we need water to make mac and cheese. And Casey, you gotta tell us, if you weren't a painter, if you were not running Muck Studio, what would you be doing with your life?
I'd be a hermit.
Oh?
I would retreat to the mountains and live a very simple life. In solitude. Actually, I would probably be a contemplative monk or some sort of spiritual disciplinary.
That's kind of makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would either devote my life to a monastery, take a small vow of silence for a chunk to see what happens. It's ironic because I can't not stop running my mouth.
I don't know, she likes to talk. So do I. We like to talk.
And I would very much likely take up some sort of servitude in a community in which I played a humble role of service to people who told me what to do and how they needed it done. I would be a doer for other people's work.
It's just so cool to watch you.
It feels so good.
It's very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like my new STEM. See, Sally, would you consider yourself neuroregular?
I am.
Neurotypical?
I would just, I got 20/20 vision and my brain's normal.
I'm neurodivergent, which means I do dim lights, small sounds, and lots of stimming. I shake, quiver, I do
Could
weird
you describe a little bit more about like what stimming is?
Stimming is like when my brain has activity and my hands need to match that activity, and so I'll do things like pick up a cassette tape and just shake it. I'll just jiggle my cassette tapes. That's my new favorite one.
The water. She is ready. So we got our little Annies. Do you remember these as a kid? Did you ever have Annies? Because I did, and she was the tits, respectfully. Mac and cheese is ready. Alright, bitch. So I don't know about you, I like my mac and cheese with a little sriracha and pepper.
I, as well, like my bun.
Oh, you're cool! We're cool. Wow, you really go hard on that.
I like myself some.
At the Babe Cave, we like it spicy!
I'm sorry, that's a lot of pepper.
That's a lot of pepper. So,
Proud.
we should like tell a story of how we met and how our
Do you
lives.
want to tell it or do you want me to?
You can go for it.
No, you should.
No, you should.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you should.
I have a good one, the raw version.
Hit me.
I met Sally at a house party. It's not like really a party. It was music and art.
And pizza.
And pizza. So much pizza. They had like a little craft table. And I met Sally at that table. So I walked up and we bonded over crafts for the first time. So I guess it's not super shocking that we're here.
No, we also bonded over the fact that I just gotten out of an abusive relationship.
Yes.
And I for some reason felt totally comfortable telling you everything.
I heard you out, listened, and I was like, cool. So maybe we should hang out more. So I was like, yeah, I have a little art studio. You should come hang out with me sometime. Sally makes a really good effort to be friends. So over time we get to know each other, whatever. And then she comes to the studio one day, just devastated. She goes, I got fired by my job via text.
The same week I got broken up with by a boy I liked. Same week. It was like the same day my tire on my bike broke.
Not a
It
coincidence.
was just all at once. When it rains, it pours, you know?
So she comes in hysterics, and I'm like, oh, that's great news. Congratulations. Because I genuinely find that to be a freeing thing. Like, to me, when you get fired, it's literally life liberating you from something that clearly wasn't going to stick around, and now you get to explore something new. And so I was like, oh, congratulations. Now you can do what you've always wanted to do. She's like, what was that? I'm like, I've been asking to pursue music full time for
A decade, really.
literally
At that point.
years and years. And I was like, it really sounds like you have like the perfect opportunity to just do that. And you were relieved that that was somehow true, and then immediately terrified because you're like, how? And the part where we overlapped quickly is that I had an extra room in the studio, and you became my first like resident musician. I think I charged you $50 a month.
Yeah, you're just like, here, take this space I never use.
It worked out really well for me because I knew at that time my art studio should never be solo. Art was never meant to be solitary. It was always meant to be shared.
And I had like 3 students or something. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it's happening.
And 3
And-
turned into how many?
Now I got like a rotating roster of like 20-something students that just like coming in and out of my studio.
We've
Have
expanded
something new.
twice together.
Yeah, it's crazy.
2.5 years.
So now, from how big was the first studio? It was 3 little rooms.
It was
that
500 square feet
And now
with
we're at-
no windows.
no windows, no running water, and now we're at
3,000 square feet
with a full kitchen
and 12 working artists.
and windows. Crazy.
Like 12 windows, actually.
Like, yeah, like a lot
Literally.
of windows. Here's the other funny thing about us. We are literally on opposite sides of the calendar. And opposite
Everything.
sides of astrology. And we are the yin and yang, baby. The yin and the yang. Peanut butter and the mac and cheese. Like, it is...
It
she's
goes together, but
she's
it's different.
Yeah, no, she's a Pisces and I'm a Virgo. Like, super Virgo. Super Pisces. And we just balance each other out. Annoying as hell sometimes, but...
Grind like friction, sandpaper.
Yeah, we got some sandpaper friction at times, but...
Turns out I need it.
But the thing is, we both do. I think we're turning each other into river rocks, which is really nice. We love river rocks. I'm way less rigid than when I first met you, that's for sure.
I kind of didn't give you an option.
No,
Did
you didn't. You just were like, time to be fluid, time to detach from everything. I was like, ah!
I am not my body and I am not my mind. Sally's like,
What?
what?
And then now you're undertaking this massive endeavor of coordinating this entire art collective that serves the community. And that takes building structure
And so much
leading
paperwork.
it. Yeah.
So much paperwork.
Which I love. I'm such a list person. I fucking love lists. I have like 3 notebooks devoted to list making. All different kinds of lists.
Makes me scared.
So here's how our lives are. Like, if there's a spectrum of people, you have the super fluid people on one side, the super rigid people on the other side. If you're over here, I'm over here. We met right about here, and now we are both just like circling the center. And one day, you were like, Sally, give me advice on how to create job descriptions for the people at Muck that need to help me.
I need help.
And so I was like, oh, here's a great way to do it. And you start writing a list. And I was like, oh, you're writing a list, which is how I would figure these things out. I was like, no. Let me show you. And I made a drawing, which is something she would do. And I was like, this is how I'm visualizing it. So we had like completely switched places where the way we were viewing this problem was like how the other person would traditionally deal with it. Which I think is so cool. Like we are surrounding the center of this spectrum and like kind of ebbing and flowing between the two, which I think is how you know that we've both grown and how you know that we are in this like beautiful symbiotic relationship.
Hell yes.
Yeah. So you've undertaken this huge task of creating an art collective that serves the community, acts as an incubation space for artists, and also acts as a space for the whole community to express themselves and to explore their inner world in a very safe place. That must have made you grow a lot and reflect on your own life and your own journey. And I'm curious what you've learned just in the last year of undertaking that.
Let's divide that 1 year into 6 months.
Okay.
Because we had a huge pivot point in September where I had to make the conscious decision, am I in or am I out? Am I really going to do the deal and commit to the bit, or am I... Originally, my grand plan was to join the Peace Corps and go to Ecuador for 2 years and do the same exact work that I'm currently doing, only in a completely different country. I was proposed with a bigger opportunity for the studio to grow and solidify, and would require a 5-year commitment, or I could back out. And what I've learned is that life sometimes laughs at plans. And
that's a good way to put it.
And I don't feel like I missed anything, but I did agree and consent to the moment that I was in and said, you know what? I'm here, I'm invested, and I'm not going to back down from this because I know the value. I would say the thing that I learned the most, or the thing that I grew with the most, was my sense of discipline, because I'm not much for obedience, and I'm not one to quickly give up my freedom. And in big commitments, there is a release of some freedom and a moving into obedience. And so for me, learning to appreciate and enjoy my obedience and experience freedom through obedience has been a whole mentality shift.
Yeah, I mean, that's the call of the leader.
Yeah, and it has been an absolute honor. Super humbling, because I think who am I to do any of this? But I also know I'm equipped and well able. Mm-hmm. I believe that I have the power of voice and influence here in my hometown, where I have home field advantage, and I can reach and leverage on behalf of people who are foreign to here.
It's really powerful and speaks volumes to the kind of community you're building when you are actually creating this place that like is. We've seen people who walk into Muck and it's like a few months later, they're different. They're a different person, and they walk around with a lot more openness and confidence, and they
liberated.
They feel liberated. They feel free, and they feel free to express themselves without shame. I think shame is the biggest killer, and fear is the biggest killer.
Creative. Wait, I can do this. Creator's doubt.
Creator's doubt
is what I'm now calling it. Creator's doubt is when an artist or a musician or a creative of any genre innately has a very high level of self-critique and criticism, to the point where they no longer feel free to explore their own inner creativeness because they themselves cut themselves short of full expression, because they themselves are not proud of what they find.
That's right alongside with imposter syndrome, believing you are not ever going to be an artist, even though you're making dozens and dozens and dozens of paintings.
But I'm not a painter.
I'm not a painter. I mean, I have that in my own life. Like, I say I'm a vocalist, I'm a singer-songwriter, but I would not... I have trouble saying I'm a guitarist, even though I play the guitar. and like, I have people say, oh, you're a guitarist. And I go, no, I'm not. That's, for me, my own doubt, you know?
Can I say something about that, too? So, for me, as a creative and a creator, imposter syndrome is just a word we would use to describe the feeling of minimizing the creative experience. When we are innately creative and when we are creative in our expression, we don't think about why we are doing what we're doing. We're doing it because we have to.
Yeah.
And to say, like, I am a musician is so minimizing to the experience itself. So, of course, we would feel a little bit fraudulent. It's like, how could this one word encapsulate everything this means to me? But the act of creation is loving in freedom. And I become obedient to my craft through creation.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's so cool.
I'm like way out there.
I fall in love with art in general more and more the more I hang out with other artists and other disciplines.
Yeah.
Like, and what's super cool is like we've kind of again, we're circling the center of this spectrum together, where now you are exploring being a musician.
Oh my god!
And I'm exploring being a painter, where I just like have my little paint supplies over the last year and just like love to doodle and like I have a sketchbook now, which I never had.
It's
you
also
know?
behind the checking counter.
Oh yeah, I gotta pick it up, don't I?
Yeah, I won't forget though.
Okay,
I won't forget. I'll bring it home tonight.
But I think it's so cool when we just influence each other in that way, you know? Like,
yeah, for me to pick up the guitar recently. Do you remember New Year's?
Huge. Well, do you have any parting words? Where are you in the world? How can people find you?
Find me at Muck Studio. That's how you can get to me. That's how you can get a hold of me.
All the description, in the description, all the links will be there. Anything else you'd like to say?
Passion happens, and when it happens, don't miss it.
Ooh, I like that extra tagline.
Period.
I love you. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
Into our kitchen. Thanks for being in our kitchen and making mac and cheese with me.
I'm here for that. You made me lunch.
I know. She just serenaded, and we're just like
I trade.
That's great.
I trade lunch for a serenade. Are you kidding me?
I love it.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.